Hello, everyone. How you doing? This is the New Entrepreneur. Our business is helping your business grow. And we made the New Entrepreneur to help different people put their business on blast because we wanted to give back, me and Don, my wife, Don. So we have a special guest here. He was one of the first people that we actually interviewed, and his name is James Sims. James, what's up? What's going on?
Doing good. How you feeling today, Mitchell?
Pretty good. Tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, and so they can get acquainted with you.
All right, cool. Again, my name is James Sims. I am actually the owner operator of Sims Books Publishing, and just a little background is that I started my first book. And that's right there. My Trials and Errors, Reflections of a Single Father.
That's right.
I did that first book some years ago. Started in 2009, finished it right around 2010. So when I put my first book out, I researched and made sure that I knew exactly what I was doing. You know, it was a steep learning curve, but I kind of, got with the program pretty quickly with learning how to publish my book and how to do, learning all the nuances that come with book publishing. And I guess my goal after that, after I finished my first book, was to share with other people how I did it, and I created a model after that basically we will work for you. That's our catch line and phrase. We will work for you, because we believe that we all have a story to tell, so I kind of modeled that company so then that way it will be something different than what other people have run into. I always call myself the anti-publisher, that this company really is going to be set up to help others rather than, I guess, exploit them and take their money and kind of lead them down the wrong road. Because I've ran into plenty of people that have actually tried to publish their books, but man, you wouldn't believe what type of nightmares that they ran into. But background from the Washington D.C. area, we actually moved from the D.C. area to Arlington, where my grandma stayed. So we were practically raised there, in Green Valley. So you know how the valley is. You grew up in that area.
Sorry, just to let them know, me and James are from the same neighborhood. So we grew up together. And I'm very proud of him because, he's probably the only person that I really know from our area that actually published a book. He's a publisher. He has his own publishing company. Also, he's ghostwriting, screenwriting, and he has a television episode series coming up. So with that, he'll let you know about that later. But go ahead, man.
Okay. So that's what it is, and I guess from our foundation, I just took bits and pieces from here and there, but the largest part of my inspiration was my mother. She would do things for other people, and everyone that I've met would always say, good things about her. Never had a bad word to say about her. And she's always been there to help other people out. And with what she taught me coming up is that we need to look out for ourselves, but then also be able to do something where we give back. We have a lot of folks out here, they make it out of the hood, but they never give back. They never come back and say, hey, here's what I can offer you to help you out. So that's kind of like another part of the, the reason why I started the company was to help those who had a story to tell.
Exactly. That's good, man. That's great. And so when you had your book, because, the good thing about you is when we first started The New Entrepreneur, you was our first interviewer, and that book was fantastic. And that was around 2012. For the viewers, can you tell us briefly about the book and what it was about?
Oh, okay. Basically, that book is about my life up until becoming a parent. having 2 kids, and then, unfortunately, splitting with my kids' mom, and just everything that happened in between. I always say that our culture really is affected by trends, things that happened before we were even born, where I remember one guy said, Bruno actually, he's hood famous, but Bruno said that basically that when we were born, when our fathers were born, that's when we died, because unfortunately during the 70s, we had that time where it started to pick up as far as single parenthood was concerned. The men were going this way, the women were left to bear the kids. And unfortunately, we had that subculture where women believe, depending on how they grew up or what type of morals, but they believed that the woman should be in the household, the woman should take care of the kids, and they were used to not seeing a man in the house. So it was strange, in my situation, for me to be there. She just always thought, she's waiting for the other shoe to fall, like, when are you going to leave? And I'm still around, and I raised a kid that wasn't mine. I raised her daughter, and then we had 2 also, but I really believe that, I needed to be there, because I wanted for my kids what I didn't have for myself. So I wanted to be there. So we kind of bump heads, and then, in the end, I wound up becoming a single father of 2, So I kind of, lay out what I've been through. But in the beginning of that book, I tell people, think first. I say it in the beginning and I say it in the end. Before you do something, think first. Because you have to think, what is the connection that you and that other person is going to have? What are your commonalities? And do your goals line up with their goals? Because unfortunately, if your goals are up here, 280, that other person may feel that, okay, they're not in the same boat with you, and then you might clash, So you got to understand that part, what are y'all commonalities? Because if you don't have a lot in common, it's going to be a hard road,
Exactly. So
that's basically
think with your head, not your other head, right?
Oh yeah, and that definitely that is true. So I learned a whole lot through that process. A lot about myself, a lot about her, a lot about the whole situation. I just felt that it was something that needed to be said. Unfortunately, we have a lot of brothers that are getting caught up in the system over stuff that's petty. They understand one thing is that the system sometimes can work against you if you don't work with the system. I figured, okay, you know what? I'm going to work with the system. I'm going to do something different. So I put myself on child support. I went up to the courts and I said, hey, you know what? I have 2 kids out here and I have 1 that I'm taking care of. Where do I sign up? They're looking at me like, are you crazy? What do you mean sign up? Are you already on child support? I said, no. I said, I want to make sure that my kids don't have to see this mess. They don't have to keep going through this mess, arguing back and forth, the threats. I'm going to be accountable because at the end of the day, if I have my kids, I love my kids, I want to take care of my kids. Being a man is taking care of your responsibilities. Exactly. So I did that. And I tell young brothers every day is that once you are accountable, they can't hit you over the head for being accountable. They're gonna hit you over the head if you're running from your responsibilities. Exactly. So I signed up for it and I say, hey, here are the checks and balances now. You can't keep threatening me, telling me you're gonna do this and do that, because I had to inform myself. I didn't know, so I had to go and research and find out, okay, what am I entitled to by law? Because if you don't know what the Bible says, we suffer from the lack of knowledge, right? And then also suffer from being able to take that knowledge that we learn and being able to use that knowledge and acclimate yourself enough that then that way it becomes, something that you can use as a tool now. So I was like, okay, I'm going to learn what I need to learn so I can safeguard myself, be here for myself, and be here for my kids, because if I can't take care of myself, I'm not going to be able to take care of them, you know? So I stress a whole lot in the book about faith, you know, because in the beginning, my mom was so hardcore. She was like this. I'm going to tell you like this. The only thing that I'm going to tell you is this. And I came to her and I'm like, Mom, I'm mad. I'm like, okay, I'm about to react, you know, I'm about to do, you know, whatever, because I'm facing this, I'm facing that. And she said, okay, this is all I'm going to tell you. Read the book of Job. And once you finish reading the book of Job and understand the book of Job, everything will be fine. Everything will be done at the end of you reading the book of Job. She told me it was the shortest book in the Bible. But when I opened it up and flipped through it, I'm like, whoa, that was a long book. But that's all she had to tell me. So for someone like Job that faced so much stuff, and mine is just minor, you know, I think when we look at ourselves and we look at our situations, we always think we facing a big mountain, you know. Mm-hmm. But if you compared it to someone like Job, it ain't nothing. Man. This man went through a whole lot. So once I understood what he was going through, the fear of not knowing, the fear of my actions, you know, me jumping out there and doing something that they really wanted me to do, you know, to catch me up, I started learning that, you know what, it ain't about what they say, what they do, you know, you have to be good with yourself and it doesn't matter. You know, the whole world can be against you, but you have to center yourself and understand that as long as the big man upstairs got your back, nothing else matters, you know?
Man, that's, oh no, that's great, man. I understand that, you know, and thank you for that. If you want to get his book, I'm gonna leave the link below because it's a very interesting book, and I think that especially us men, we need to you know, take responsibility for these children because it need the you know, this whole life needs male presence within the family, you know.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, brother, for you know, going through that, you know, and sharing your experiences with us. With that being said, now, you know, because it's been 5 years since we did the last interview, but now you took that to a whole nother level. Can you explain what you're doing now? Because it seems like you're just taking life by its wings.
Okay. What I did is that, you know, that first book kind of started it all. And I said, okay, I can go from here and I can expand. I was like, okay, I'll write more books or I'll actually show someone else how to do what I'm doing. Quick story. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready at all. You know, I wrote the book, boom, I'm done. I'm putting it out. And I still had some errors that I had to kind of correct or whatever. And I said, okay, I'm going to start this. I had it in mind. I said, you know what? I'm going to start a publishing company. I had it in my mind. I said, I'm going to start a publishing company. That week, I get a call. And I'm like, hello, who's this? So she's like, oh, I got your card. And I'm like, my card? And I remember when I was handing out cards, I had a picture of me on the front of the card and on the back of the card in a suit, you know, so I was like clean. And it just had my name, my number, and I think the name of my book. So everywhere that I traveled, I was handing out the card, you know, shoveling out books, boom, boom, boom. So she said, hey, I have a book and I want to publish my book. And I've been writing this book for the last 17 years and it's near and dear to me. And I want to publish this book. And I heard you have a publishing company. At the time, I had no publishing company. I just had a card that I was handing out. I had finished my first book. Someone had my card, met her in California, handed her my card. She was en route back from California to Atlanta. And I started this thing where I would help people out just along the way, help them with copyright, help them with something, and nothing was really put together. So when they come to me, I knew enough that I can help them. So by that time, I had helped a couple of people, but I had never taken on a whole job myself. I finished my book, but I knew I still had some work to do. So I was like, okay, cool. So then I set out the contract, and I said, okay, here's the deal. There's a $300 contract fee. Normally with people, if they serious enough, they're going to put down the money. For me, it was almost like a game of chicken. I was like, okay, we'll see if they go for it. See if they serious enough. She said, all right, check your PayPal. Man, the money was there. So I'm like, oh, man.
Yep.
So now I'm put to task. I really have to go through with this or just give them their money back. It was a thought. So I met her and her husband, and I don't know, I'm just gonna say how I felt at the time, because when I met her on the phone, she didn't sound any particular color. You know, I couldn't gauge what color she was and this and that or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I think I was really checking my value at the time. I said, I'm a young black man about to now take this leap to start a company and work with people. I don't know if I can sell it because of who I look like. You feel me? I'm like, I don't know if I can sell it or not because of who I look like. I know what I know, but I don't know who's gonna buy into it.
That's right.
So I meet her at Barnes and Noble's, her and her husband. I'm standing there and I'm just looking as people coming in. And she comes in and she knows me. I've never seen her a day in my life, man.
Yeah.
And she's looking at the card and she's looking at me, and they're both tearing up crying. And I'm just like, oh man, middle-aged Italian woman.
Yeah.
And her husband, you know. So they're looking at me and they're tearing up. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta produce. I have to put this thing through. I have to birth this baby.
Exactly.
Like, man. So we sit down and we're talking and we go through the particulars and all, and she's just so happy. My heart is about to jump out of my chest. Cause I'm like sweating bullets. Like, man, I put it out there, but now it's coming, you know, to me, and I have to act. You know, I have to, you know, do what my thought process was that I was thinking about it. Now God put it in my face and said, "Now let's do it." So after that meeting, I was just like, man, I had all the feelings going through me. Like, man, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, you don't really know how to do this, man. You know, so now you have a new customer, you're gonna have to give that money back. But he led me the rest of the way, man, you know, and I got in contact with some good people, you know, an artist, someone that knew something about book structure. And then I sat down for 2 weekends at a time, and I read, and I just kept studying of how to do these certain things, you know, in publishing. I bought a book from Barnes and Nobles, read it from page to page. Then I said, okay, I'm ready. So then I contacted her and I said, okay, we're ready. We're ready. And we put the first book out, you know, and then after that, that's all she wrote. We just started getting more customers. And she has a 6-book series. We're on book number 3 right now with her. And I just started getting more clients. And my third client was a PhD doctor. So he sent me a dissertation that was 700 pages long. And he said, hey, I want to turn this into a book. Dissertations have all of these different references to this, to that, every other sentence. I said, I'm thinking in my head, I don't know how to work this thing out to make it into a book because it's just so much stuff. So again, I said, okay, I'm gonna figure this out. I found someone else that had a double English major. Called her up. I said, look, I need to take this dissertation from 700 pages to at least 200 readable pages. So she knocked it out within a week. And I brought the work to him. He said, oh, you said it was going to be 200 pages. I said, yeah, it was like 145. I said, but this is what we could get out of this without it just looking redundant. And you know, we wanted to get to the core of it. Then also we were able to kind of pin his 7 steps,
Mm.
you know, into a different order and then into an acronym pinned down. You know, I think 765 PINDOW. Yeah. So we were able to do that and deliver his work. And he was happy. He said, man, you do live by your creed. We will work for you.
Mm-hmm.
That year we went to New York and I put all my money, all the marbles into it. We went to New York, our very, very first book show. We're there with Simon and Schuster. We're there with Pelican, Pelican House, Random House, all of the big names, you know. And I even sponsored a luncheon for what's his name, James Patterson, and he was there. So he walked over to our booth and he said, "Who runs this outfit?" I'm like, Nikki. So it was good to get that notoriety for them to give me a nod and say, "I see you." First year out, you know, and we just hit the ground running, you know. So, you know, we're here to help, you know, on the product side and on the service side, you know, where I don't care if you are an author that has your books out already, we can go back and help you restructure it so that way it's always good to have your ownership. So just in case that thing blow, you're not splitting hairs, you're not paying this person, paying that person. The negotiation comes all the way down just to you. You know, we can help you in the negotiations also, but it comes back down to you, and you know your worth. You know what you're supposed to have, what you're supposed to know, all of that good stuff, you know. And I'm not knocking the free publishing that people do, but that only limits you to one avenue. And I'll say it like this, and I don't want to be facetious, and I don't want to badmouth anyone, but the free publishing, it gives you just that one lane. You know, Amazon is great, you know, because that's where people buy stuff. But Amazon is just like the high dollar thrift store. You know, you can get anything from Amazon.
Yeah.
You go in there and you say, oh, I want to buy this, and you can get anything. But when you're thinking all things books, you want to also align yourself to be in those book, you know, channels. So then that way, where people pick up books and they read books, you want to solely have those channels open to you. So then that way they can find you, you know, because a lot of times people don't go on Amazon to look you up, other type of readers. So you want to be versatile. You know, people do go there for deals, but we're trying to show you how to maximize your profits also.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly, man. Exactly. And like you said, all things free is not worth. You know what I mean? I mean, you covered so many grounds with that story. Your story
Right.
is a symbol of a real entrepreneur. It's basically like the saying, you know, entrepreneurs jump off the cliff and figure out the plane. You know, and that's what you did. I think that more people, I mean, we all fear, including myself. I mean, most entrepreneurs fear. They think that, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? You know, look, you know, based on ethnicities, based on race, you know, other cultures gonna gravitate to what I have. And I mean, you just defeated your fear, you know, in a nutshell. And it was that too, and it was also great that you were speaking upon about, you know, the free, because most people say, oh, I can get my publishing for free, but you know, think about free schools against really private schools. You know what I mean? Or, you know, you're going to get more information, more detailed information to help you out. So that's great. So now, because you are a publisher, now what are you doing now? Because when we spoke, you're doing something totally out of the box again. And what are you doing now?
Okay, one of my authors came to me. Well, we actually met a couple of years ago, and she wanted to do a memory book for her son. Her son had tragically been killed by the negligence of a police officer, you know. So she wanted to do a dedication book for him. And I said, look, no problem. Don't ask anymore. I got you. So I called my graphic artist and we worked it out and we got her first book. Then she said she had some more work, to do as far as a stage play that she did. And he was going to be the lead role in that stage play. But once he died, she kind of shelved everything. So I told her, you know what, take your time with it. There's no rush, because I already understand how emotional that can be, with having him to be the main lead, but he's no longer here. So she called me one day and she said, hey, I'm going to send it to you. What do you think about it? I read it and I said, man, this is nice. And she said, what do you think about it being in a book? I said, no problem. So I started to work on the script, and then she started to work on it so we can kind of expand it. And then before long, I sent it back to her. She was able to go back through and take her time and finish the book. So once she finished the book, we were just still kind of like, sitting in limbo. What's the next step? And then by that time, I had gotten busy. She had gotten busy with her career and stuff. So it was still sitting there, So then one day she comes over and we're talking about putting some finishing touches on the first book. She wanted to do some other things with it. Then she said, you know what, I'm ready. I said, okay, cool. I said, what are we ready for? Said, I was thinking, why don't we turn this thing into a TV show, And I said, you know what, let's go. So from that point on, I became the project manager. I got the cinematographer. I got, I was able to help out with people coming into audition, anything, pertaining to it. I was able to grab this person, grab that person and say, come on, let's do it. Even in the middle of it, she was like, I don't know. And I said, oh, slow down. You do know. You started out with a thought and you allowing things to kind of, knock you off course. Nah, this is it. We going full steam ahead and we going to do this. So she was like, well, okay, let's go. So we started, brainstorm on exactly what we needed to do next. And we just started meeting with different people around, the Atlanta area. And I went out to a audition. They were having an audition. I said, look, can I come and just watch? Because I want to see how you guys do what you do. So I talked to the other guy and kind of got some pointers from him. Came back, said, look, this is what we need to do. She set up the venue. We started auditioning people. She wanted to kind of keep it closed, and I said, no, we need to expand so then that way we can get the talent. Don't be afraid that someone that already has a particular part in mind, someone else comes in and blows that out of the water. So that's what was happening, is that at every corner, we would have someone sitting there that was good for the part. Then we have someone come in from the audition, blow it out of the water. So now we got this dilemma. So I said, when you have that dilemma, now it's time for you to write even more. Because if we have good talent keep coming in, we need to now expand on this script. Yeah. So at every corner, we kept expanding and putting new people in. So now we have a TV show that we just finished the pilot on. We finished the pilot. And you know what? We kind of went hard. We was like, okay, do we need to get this and that? Nah, we just going to go out there and we're going to shoot it. And I'm telling you, we out there like this. Boom, let's go. We out there putting it together, We wasn't going to let anything stop us. We were just going to go ahead and get it done. So we got it done. And the book is called Can Anything Good Come Out of the Hood? Mm-hmm. So with that, the show is Can Anything Good Come Out of the Hood? And the question is, can anything good come out of the hood? And what about that thing going out of the hood, but returning back to the hood, taking over the hood and coming back as a shining example? You got plenty of people that leave. Yeah, they can do that. But what about somebody coming back in and trying to influence the people that are there and help them out, Exactly. So that's what the show revolves around.
Man, that is great, man. Another brilliant story, man.
Yeah.
And it's like you just understand entrepreneurship, and this is what happens. This is why big companies appear, because they take that thought and they implement the thought. So, man, kudos to you. Just before we go, we explain everything that you do. But for the viewers, because a lot of people don't understand what you have been through for the last 5 years. You have been through something that most people can't get out of, as far as losing your mother, and also losing your brother that we know. And how did you take that pain with losing very close love members and elevate? How did you use that to elevate where you are now? Because a lot of people need to know that it's going to be downfalls in entrepreneurship. You're going to go through some trials. How were you able to maintain and focus and take that and carry on?
Well, with that, being that my first initial thought about starting this company had everything to do with what my mom was, that I have to show people that I can do this, and I can reach out to people and I can help them. So that was the first part of it. With losing them, I think, just like anybody, a lot of people go through it, and then when they lose someone, it makes them turn the opposite way. So they turn to anger, they turn to, alcohol, they turn to drugs, it really crushes their life. But they live in order for me to live. So I'm looking at this. When I lose my mom and I lose my brother, I can still hear them. I can still hear them. My mom would tell me, what you doing? You're not going to sit there and cry. You're not going to sit there and make an excuse. I live my life, but you're not going to make an excuse why you can't live yours. My brother, he'll probably pop me right upside my head and say, look, his favorite word was clown, man, you clown. Like, why in the world would you sit down and cry and mourn over me and not get up and live, So when I think about them, I'm like, okay, I got you. I'm going to do this for y'all. I'm going to get up every day and I'm going to keep pushing this company, because to know me is to know them, So if you don't know them, if you don't know Gwen Johnson and you don't know Omar Johnson, you know them now, because everything that I do is through them, through me. So whatever I do, whether I'm out here helping people out, and the thing is, people don't realize that there are people out here that will help you. They're so used to people not being genuine and want something for nothing, got that hand behind their back, like, one hand out, the hand behind their back type of thing. And I'm like, dude, I don't do this for you. Yeah. I do this because I know that this is what I do, for them. And this is my calling. My calling is to come here and help as many people as possible, whatever problems, issues that they may have. I help people that are in the jail system, people that are almost about to go to jail, people that have a case going on. Basically, if I write a letter, and this has been proven, I write a letter to the judge and I say, hey, this is what this is what the rest of their life is going to look like. Yes, they have gotten in trouble. They have this going on, but here's what the rest of their life is about to be like, and I can vouch for. A guy was about to do 15 years in prison, got 10 years probation. I think 10 years probation is better than 15 being in, right?
Oh man, you absolutely.
So I try my best to, do what I can to kind of help the next person. And it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with my mission and my purpose. My purpose is to help, and my purpose is to show people that there is, good people out here, that will do for you and make sure that, we can kind of build the foundation and build people up instead of tearing people down,
Man, that is great. Yeah, and I always use logics. Like, you can't, everyone cannot be one way. It's always different, you know.
Right.
For us coming up in our area, you know, most of
Yeah.
our lives we've been negative about everything, you know, especially that area. Nah, we ain't doing this. Nah, that ain't gonna happen. Nah, that's not. But you know, just like you and just like me, like until we change our mindsets, things just come, you know, in a positive manner, man. I wanna really thank you for this interview, man, and I salute you, man.
Thank you.
For you, brother, because you are a powerful brother. And can you tell people how they can get in contact with you?
Okay, you can get in contact with me on my website, and it's simsbookspublishing.com. So it's Sims, SIMMS, books, plural, publishing.com. So you can go on there. What we have is that we have kind of like a sheet where we're just trying to get a little bit of information, and it has questions and answers on there, and just to uncover your need. Exactly what do you need, what you're looking for. And in that white letter, it actually kind of gives you a breakdown of some items that we actually offer. And then we go into a little further with another white letter that we'll send out, you know, once we figure out what your need is. And also we tailor-made everything to that person's need. You know, it's not a one size fit all, you know. So depending on what you need, we will tailor make our services to your needs.
Okay, and can they reach you on Facebook or YouTube?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell them about that.
Okay, on Facebook, we have a Facebook page, simsbookspublishing.com. On Facebook, it's Sims Books Publishing, just without the .com on Facebook. YouTube, we haven't done any videos just yet, so we're working on getting those up. We do have, I do have a couple live videos that are on the site also. So it gives you some ins and outs about publishing, copyright, and just, you know, some things that you think about as far as when you're getting into the point of writing. Because most people say, where do I start? You know, they don't know actually how to start. They have a thought in their mind, but they just don't know how to start it. And then the big whammy is, how do I make it into a book? You know, how do I create a book? I tell people, look, don't worry about that. Worry about just writing. Don't worry about the editing, just write. And what we'll do is that we'll come and we'll formulate, you know, everything into a book, you know, bring it into a book, and you'll probably look at it and be like, wow, I did that, you know. But we'll get everything together, you know. All I tell people to do is just write. We'll handle the rest, you know.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I love this interview. And if you are an entrepreneur, you know, we also do interviews. You can go to our Facebook, The New Entrepreneurs, Inc., and Facebook, and you can reach us and contact us at interviews@thenewentrepreneurInc.com. Thank you so much, James. It's a pleasure, and we'll talk to you soon, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, Mitch.
All right, man. Peace.
All right. Peace.